Recording progress.
Okay, I'll do a little.
Sorry, I think I clicked on.
I'll just do a little intro, Lamala, for the recording. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Santa Monica KTC Thursday Sangha gathering. We have Lama Karma with us tonight. We're very grateful for your being here, Lama Karma. And we wanted to let everyone know that if you would like to make a donation to Lama Karma this evening, you can do so by logging onto our website, santamonicakTC.com. You can also click the link in the newsletter that you received. Some of you might have received this evening. We'll be having more programs coming up for the month of December, and we'll be sending those out in the newsletter as well for next month, which is tomorrow. December 1st. And then in the new year, we're going to have a lot of other programs happening. We're putting all that together now. So if anyone has any questions or has any ideas for teachings that they'd like to hear, we're taking, we're definitely listening to what everyone wants and putting a really good program together for next year as well. And with that, Lama Karma, thank you. And I'll hand it over to you.
I don't see. Where did you hand?
Here's my hand.
Yeah, thank you. It's once again, so happy to be with you guys. Thank you for Santa Monica. Not tiring of me, having me back again and again. Someone who comes without any topics. But really happy, especially I feel as we talked before the recording about my trip to Nepal. Pay respect to my one of the important guru, Thangrum Rinpoche, and because of him, he's the one who sent me to assist my uncle Khembu Rinpoche, and oh my God, that was like 90. Thangrum Rinpoche came to Tibet like 1996, I think. And so he, we had one senior Lama in Nepal at that time who actually told Jaji Thangrum Rinpoche that, Khembu Rinpoche needs assistant, and I was behaving pretty good at that time in the monastery. So he recommended, Khembu Rinpoche's nephew at that time, Karma Drodhul. Karma Drodhul also, my name was given by Jaji Thangrum Rinpoche when I was 9 years old. And I probably told the stories. I still remember his such warmth and joyful smile, but also such warmth of blessing. When I was 9 years old, my father took to the city. You had to go to the city to get to Thangrum Monastery, and that was probably the first time I ever, went through this, motorcycles, cars, and I mean, just to hear so many noises, and I was kind of lost. And then my father took to monastery, and then I went to see Jaji Thangrum Rinpoche, and when we entered into his room, I felt, it's so much, some kind of, I didn't know what it was, blessing, but I say it was so much joy. And then I saw Butch was sitting on this his bed and wearing his not the robes, but he was wearing this monastic kind of clothes, and so I could see his special warm smile. And then my father and my uncle Lama Sonon told me to sit down, and they didn't tell me where to sit. So I went straight to Buche and sat next to him. And then I looked up. Actually, I sat the left side of him. So I looked up, and he goes like this. Ah, oh, and I really recall that beautiful smile and warmth, and I felt very comfortable there, even though, that was first time to see him, and also like someone was so isolated, and nomadic life, and never really, never really experienced such, crowd and dazzling streets, all those stuff. And but so I I kind of was able to stay a little longer. And then all of a sudden I saw my uncle Amasonum and my father, and he said, no, you can't sit next to him. Sit on the floor. How did I know that? They never mentioned, where to sit. And as you know, I went there in Nepal in May when Rinpoche was quite sick, and not that I could do anything, but teacher and guru means everything for you. And even though I couldn't do any, do much or but just to be closer to him and also, stayed close to his hotel. Not also hospital. I could see. They introduced me where he, his room is, and kind of, able to do practice, meditation, and, aspirations. And then this time I was, able to go there with my Vajra brother Lama Zopa, who did 3 retreat twice with me, and then Lama Jimba, and so yeah, so when we flew from New York to Dubai, and I watched a documentary, and the it is titled as a description is like a cure for your body and mind, and then it says walk. You see, this is my interesting teaching. And so in that documentary, it describes about the importance of walk, and I was very inspired. I kind of know before that, importance of walk, but in that documentary, it's very, very inspiring, and talk about at least. It didn't say at least. The terminology was like the minimum walk every day would be 10,000 steps, and that would really make you feel good physically, mentally, and one of the best way to have a long life. Of course, there's certain conditions for it's impermanent, but generally. And related to that topic, there was a famous Japanese gentleman was lived a long time without much illness, and someone asked him, what was your secret? for your long life, not only have a long life, but so healthy. And he said, move. So move, not just stuck on your sofa and watching TV endlessly and politics, etc. So this time when I went to Nepal, I stayed with my uncle, who's actually 93 years old and outstanding practitioner. And I feel so fortunate, to have had Kimburumbuch in our family lineage and as a teacher, and then now I feel very fortunate. I mean, I spent most of my life with Kimburumbuch, but not so much with my uncle Lamasona. But the more I see him, and last time when I went there, he was really sick, and I was able to assist him for a few days. And this time of 5 days stay with him, and it's just kind of amazing. Someone is 93 years old, but such joy, satisfaction, and so his age does not affect him. Excuse me, he's not that healthy, doesn't affect him, and there's immense joy in him, and truly, shows that how when we practice Dharma consistently with such devotion and pure samaya with lineage, makes you feel your life very, very rich. And so when I got there, and then they had, some pujas, and we were very lucky that we were able to represent, KTT monastery, the seat of His Holiness Karmapa, and able to offer the monastics like 500 rupees for each monk. Monastics, there were like more than 1,000 monastics, and a whole day meal sponsoring, and then 1,500 donation, dollar donation, and I really felt that very, very blessed. And then when I come back, I was broke. Anyway, so during that, of course, before cremation, it's just regarded with Jagju Tangrum, which it's we all know that he's very amazing teacher, but this is probably in the history of Tibet, the only teacher that has received such respect from all the lineage of Tibetan Buddhism. While he was present, and he was so respected by all of lineages, Kagyu, Nyima, Satya, Gelu. And when he built those monasteries, and he once told that he never really looked, or never really compared, those temples and statues to any other monasteries. He was basically, now sometimes there will be competition, someone built the monastery such and they want to build more. But Rinpoche said, that's one of his rejoicing, something like that. He never really think about, always stick with the Nalanda tradition at the time of the Buddha, how, there was the temples, how they were built. And also with his logo does not say may the practice lineage flourish. He basically says, his logo says, the teaching of study and realization Langdo to Temba Jiji made the teaching, the doctrine of learning or realization or study or realization or scriptures or realization may flourish, which basically means overall Buddhism is not particularly referring to any of the lineage. Of course, it covers all Tibetan Buddhism, all Buddhism, because that's what Buddha is teaching, the studying the scriptures, or the through that study have the realization. And only master, when he got sick, visited by all the Tibetan Buddhism, the great masters, great such a tradition, the father, the two sons, the father Satyakumar Rinpoche, and then his the 42nd throne holder, his son, older son, and then the current throne holder, 43rd. It's just a little bit like talk about like the U.S. president, like 40, what will be 46 one. And when Rinpoche passed away, I mean, while he was sick, then also visited by the great master, Nyima master, the throne holder, Shechi Ramjam, and Gyulupa, Tsanze, Chuje, all of those great masters. And of course, our own lineage, Rinpoche brought such Rinpoche was able to bring, not inviting, but I was able to build the cause and the conditions, auspiciousness of returning Taisudon Rinpoche and Gyaltso Rinpoche, who hadn't been in Nepal for 30-something years. And then when his cremation happened, once again, there are four different directions. We had four different lineages. The Sacha, the current throne holder, the 43rd, and then Nyima, the Shechi Ramjam, the head of the Nyima monastery, and then Gelupa Tsanse Chuji Rinpoche, and Awakaju Isamin Gyatso Rinpoche. And excuse me. So it was just, we are just witnessing something, in 21st century, in that a master who had been the pioneer of the Buddhism, and throughout, ever since he was found, recognized throughout his life, even after he passed away, and so it was very inspiring. So after we did cremation, puja, and there was a little break, and we had a lunch break. I wouldn't say after, during the break. And I took a little nap because we got up early and at my uncle's residence. And then I saw this beautiful rain, and also thunder lightning and beautiful rainbow emerge. And so everybody was there so happy and amazed. And so when you go to this kind of event, it's not just to show up, but you have to make aspirations. And they were mostly monastics, because Rinpoche had been such special monastic in his life, and such Vinaya throne holder. And in that, the the mandala, only monastics could join, which means I'm not a monastic. And so I am outside of the circle, but I could, somewhat able to sit those chairs that you can see his body. Of course, before cremation happened, we went to see his body and made aspirations. And so the puja was the Chakasambhara sadhana, but I didn't really do puja. I was basically meditating and receiving the four empowerment, making aspirations, and mainly chanting the Muhammad aspiration prayer. So after we done that, we Lama Zopa, Lama Jimba, we went to visit local Buddhist monasteries, and they have so much blessing. The great master Dazon Rinpoche, and Jangpa Kongtrul Rinpoche's monastery, Tanggu Monastery, Tanggu Nanri, and also the most important, the three stupas, and especially the Buddha stupa. So we were able to do all this 1,800 something, water offering, flower offering, and so our trip pilgrimage I named as purification. Not like lamas come from American, and not distracted by names or such, but purification, because we as a practitioner always have mental state as I want to purify my negative karma. Never ever think once that maybe today you went to practice went well, or you did like what week-long practice, you feel did good job, or I purified a lot of negative karma. Because we could create negative karma every day, every second, as long as our mind is distracted. Our distraction mostly connected with frustration, emotions, negative feelings, which that's how we create negative karma. And the other part I did mention that I was kind of trying to meditate. I think that's extremely important. I think every practice we do, whether it's a preliminary practice or whether it's a generative practice, and everything has to connect with meditation, directly or indirectly affect really profoundly with your mind, rather than chanting, and rather than only doing the physical practice or only reciting, because that's what everything is aimed. Everything what we practice aimed to have some kind of excuse me, experiential meditation, and I guarantee that if you 100% devotion to Guru and 100% good motivation for all sentient beings, and one or another, we all will have some kind of experiential meditation. When that happens, and you will never ever struggle with your practice, and may not even need to remind by such, because of course we are beginners, right? When we go somewhere, like when I went to Nepal, I was very, very impressed, and come back feel like a little rejuvenated. But then later on, of course, our faith fades, like with all these daily struggles. We feel like we are struggling, but it's just simply because we are so focused on only this little circle of our family and friends, and we seem like very reluctant to look further distance, what's going on in humanity, or and so that's how we struggle. So my point here is that I think I never made any point in my life, so don't expect I make a point. It's supposed to be a joke. My point here is that I think any practice you do, don't rush to practice. At the beginning, it's important to do a little meditation, especially like, fix your motivation. A little bit of like, even though we say we chant like Sanjay Choton Choji Chunan chant, maybe our chanting versus our mind may not match. Therefore, at least a sense of compassion to all sentient beings, sense of love to all sentient beings, and a little bit of meditate instead of like rushing to practice, and then whether it's meditation or whether it's your whatever practice we do, there's it could be like, keep watching the hours, or you think about what to do next, and then maybe our long session could be wasted. But, at least at the beginning, have really, really good motivation. And then once you start practice, that good motivation you just have meditated and experienced, try to maintain that. And then of course, there's if you are doing mudra practice, if you do one prostration with that motivation, or sometimes like if you feel very stressed and can't think so much, and then sometimes it's nice to just bend yourself and even you do prostration or recitation and combine with a little meditation. Meditation, I always use the terminology in Tibetan, that is Nyamli, means meditation doesn't mean that reject all of your emotions. Meditation means accept whatever feelings you are occurring. Because when you accept your feelings or emotions, then you may able to experience some presence of your mind. Because if you don't accept, keep rejecting or expecting to have comments, etc., so those kind of emotions either could be in the past or future, never able to remain in the present. But once you start to experience, start to accept, then that's you may feel some sense of relief, because you're no longer fighting with your emotions, and there's no way to fight with your emotions, because there's nothing to fight in reality. Excuse me. So once you are sense of relief and understanding that this, as the great Jagra Kuntra and others mentioned, that how profound, how kind the emotions are, because they are the one who projecting as emotion, but also we through using through relaxation or remain in that emotion, able to liberate, and that's how you experience liberation, by seeing the profundity of our thoughts. And so in this way, regardless what practice when we talk about Mundu practice, it's called the Mahamudra preliminary practice, which means that prostration or like impermanence, whatever meditation you do, there's a sense of deep connection with your mind. When I talk about deep connection, doesn't mean emotional connection, but there's a sense of liberation connection. And that's how how we can generate the joy of practice. Otherwise, practice may become non-practice or like opposite, something like, we are so struggle to do it. It is something like it could be something like obligated because we are Buddhist, and something we must do, otherwise, we are not a good Buddhist. But at the same time, when you do practice, there's a sense of disconnection, or disconnect with practice. So, so that's simply because, so once again, as I mentioned earlier, experiential meditation is lacking. So that's why it's important to know that whatever practice you do is always so inherently connected with liberation of our mind, and especially if you go to see a great masters, or go to a like special sacred place like a KTT monastery, is I feel so special. I feel so fortunate to sometimes put on my feet on the soil. That's where so much blessing happened. And so so though I hope from beginning to the end up till now I said a lot of things. I hope you can able to squeeze some of the stuff that you can utilize. And then I also think that manage it to sit down, really, really important. How hard it could be, maybe even like 5 minutes, and just sit down, doing nothing, just sit down and on your chair or maybe outside or whatever. Sometimes you have to give that space to your mind, because once we, grill, once we emotionally so used our mind, and so and then there's no refreshment of our mind whole day, as the great master Jebje Mingyur Rinpoche famously used the word, try not to what's the word try not to lose, or don't be lost. Those are very powerful reminders, because what does that mean? Don't be lost. I feel like sometimes I feel lost, and only catch time to tell, oh my God, I just lost, right? So many things happens, and sometimes we think so many things happening, and just like mental occupation. And unfortunately, some people then somewhat they need some stress. If they don't have stress, they feel like they are numbed or something, and so addicted sometimes with stress. But it's just because of habitual pattern. And even though the individuals who are very addicted with emotions, and never once give opportunity to really experience the opposite of emotion, like calmness, or liberation. And so when you give that opportunity, and able to meditate and deal with your emotions, and sense of relief, or sense of liberation, and then everybody would have some sort of satisfaction, because addiction never brings satisfaction. So as a practitioner, I think this is a core value. The most important value is to and meditate whenever you can, especially try to manage to sit down like 10 minutes or do your sessions, and whatever practice you do is trying to bring that into your mental meditation. And then today I led a meditation and then of course, people feels some relieved, feels good, and some people feels, most people feel, especially when you sit down a while, they feel a sense of calmness. But I shared that my teacher Kimurumbuchi also emphasize on post meditation. That's extremely important. Post meditation, as you know, which means that maybe you have some kind of little sense of calmness during your meditation, which truly manifesting or truly are proving that if you want to be closer to your wisdom, that's how you begin with sense of a little calmness through meditation. That's not just a made-up meditation. That is something you experienced, and then that's the proof that we could do meditation. But when we do meditation, if you sit like 10 minutes or 20 minutes meditation, you have sense of little calmness, and then you feel really rejuvenated and feel too refreshed, and then kind of carried over by excitement after that, like, oh, I feel really good, and the talk, you kind of forgot to maintain that. So Kimberly said, post meditation is very extremely important, which means there's walking meditation, and we always walk. When we walk, try to maintain some gentleness and lightness and relaxation instead of aggressively talk or walk or do whatever you do. Because if you are an emotional person, always a little bit of this aggressiveness. But as a meditator, to maintain that post meditation, it's important to maintain relaxation physically, verbally. Even you walk to wherever you go, when you turn around, not like so wildly turning around, or so there's always could carry that sense of little calmness throughout. So as I mentioned, Kimberly, that's called post meditation. Always check. It's like I'm a father and I take care of my son, and you kind of always sense of awareness, and so just to be make sure he or she is safe. And that's exactly how we take care of our mind. Because I teaching, so I have to say a lot of things that I can't do it. But it's so it's really, really fortunate to have this mind. I think not only having like not only having this mind, but also recognizing that this mind is not just an emotion that we struggle with, but this mind is more than emotion. Within that emotion, there's so much richness, which we, as practitioners, aiming for it. Huh? What is this? Like a mustache. So that's, and then I'm actually quite looking forward to teach this coming weekend. Teaching it won't be on Zoom. It's like dual practice, and it will be in person. I think most PhD teachings nowadays go back to in person, and of course, this dual teaching is not something knew that our retreat master Lama Tsotum, who had been leading this Jur practice, and now he feels need to rest, and he's almost 80 years old, and he told me, I will be the first option for him, because he was asked Kimbramaji to lead Jur practice, and he said, you are the first person come in my mind. Of course, should be. Just joking. So I was very honored, and I will be teaching Jur this weekend, but I will be teaching, every year, or maybe twice a year or something like that, and then I will be leading on a webcast, monthly. I'm very looking forward to that. So anyway, I don't know, this is a guided practice, or this is advice, or this is just a talk, and that's all I want to do tonight. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
So this Chu practice this weekend, it's not online, it's only in person, as far as I could tell from the emails.
Yes, it's only in person.
Do you know, is it a specific deity?
Yeah, it's actually quite, used to be quite, I wouldn't say secret, but it's something like you don't teach so publicly. And it is the practice of Jur is mainly to do with the great female master Maji Lepidoma, and also, of course, founder of the Patamba Sanji. So it's Maji was a 11th century female master who brought this particular lineage and Severin, and it's you could say that's a deity. Maji Lepidoma was very realized master.
Oh, the reason I asked is because I've been doing Trumanagmo practice, which, there's apparently multiple different Chu practices. And so I was just curious if it was a particular deity.
Yeah, then it's so Trumanamo is like another manifestation of Maji Lepidoma, and yeah, that's Dunjam Terma practices the Trumanamo. It's very well known.
Lamala, is Jud practice something normally done after Nandro, or what's like or is it something you can do at the same time, or how does it work?
That's a wonderful question. Previously, let's say, generally, when we do 3 retreat, once you get to Mandala offering, and then at the same time we do the Jur practice. But after, when Lama Tsotum led, and he told me that people really truly interested doing Jur practice, which told him, once you give refuge vow, and then maybe people may start Hindu practice, maybe they do some other practice, but they also could do Jur practice. So in my case, sometimes has to do with the master, who teaches. I wish to have a Hindu practitioners, whether they're doing prostration, or at least they started it, and then teach Jur, because Jur is very, very special practice, and then sometimes if they read, Jur teachings, and then there's some teachings talk about, like, once you do Jur practice, if you mastered with it, you go to channel grounds and do this. But if you are not mastered, if someone beginners go to the different, with the spirits and it can really may not be, made so suitable. It can bring like, because you don't have that compassion and realization, it could bring a lot of obstacles in the individual parties or family or such.
I think if we don't have any more questions, we might, what time is it? Oh, you're good in time anyway, so.
I'm timeless.
Timeless. But you fulfilled your obligation for Santa Monica KTC tonight, because it's 7:30 now, or 7:20. So if you like.
No, I don't want to stop.
Okay, let's go.
Any other questions? If not, so lastly, once again, I would like to thank to Santa Monica KTC and having me.
I can't hear.
You can't hear? You can or can't?
Oh, now I can.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
It
Oh,
was a
you're welcome.
problem on my end.
Oh,
You were asking if people had questions. Does someone have a question?
yeah.
I do if no one else does, but I can go last.
I think you were the last. Now you can go ahead.
Oh, did I miss a question? Because my sound went out. I'm sorry if I did. So I had hired someone to help me with something, and I just found they were really frustrating to work with. And,
Mhm.
I don't know how else to put it. It's like they got off on the power of, my needing them to help me do this project. And like things like our appointment was 3:15 yesterday, but she showed up at 2:30 and said she was here and insisted our appointment was at 2:30 when even her text to me from the day before said 3:15.
Mhm.
And then I rushed like a lunatic, to meet her. And then the minute I arrived, she left. Like she texted me, "Oh, I'm leaving." Even though I spoke to her 2 minutes before, because I had said, I'm 2.5 miles away. I prefer to keep it at 3:15 as we both agreed to. But
Mhm.
if you insist and you want me to come earlier, I will, but that's my bad. I should have said no, 3:15, that's the time, but I didn't. And then I really got angry,
Mhm.
and I even tried to phone her supervisor who didn't phone me back. And
Mhm.
it's not good for me to get angry. Of course, we know the worst karma of all is getting upset.
Mhm.
And I seem to have this karma of not being able to rely on people, And I
Mhm.
knew when I met her, I could tell she couldn't make eye contact with me. Like I sensed that there was some projection on her part towards me, but
Mhm.
I didn't have anyone else to hire, you
Mm.
know, at that time. And I I felt her kind of, you know, well, it's not important. Like escalating in this type of passive aggressive behavior. And the
Mm.
same thing happened the week before with the time, so-called time. And So I decided, you know what? She doesn't follow through. She's jerking me around with the time. I'm not going to work with her because I would always feel like I had this bad energy, and we're working where I live from dealing with her, like I
Mhm.
could just feel the unconscious stuff on her end. And she would always be late and looking at her phone, you know. And so I just want to know how I can not make this kind of mistake again and again, and how I can quickly purify my anger. I mean, part of getting angry is good. It made me like vacuum and scrub. But, I we know it's not good. It was very
Mm.
upsetting. It threw me off. I was exhausted. I felt drained, you know.
Yeah. Mhm. I
Oh,
once again, relying on my teacher Kimber's advice, and he used to talk about like preparation, which means that, of course, we all have some kind of problem emotionally, different emotions, and as you have mentioned that, you kind of, I think recognizing that you have this kind of, quick response with, like upset such. And Rinpoche used to say that Rinpoche's advice was that do some preparation, which means that when you get up in the morning, or like, okay, I have this problem, I want to make sure that I won't be, doing that again. So you have a sense of commitment or preparation. And if that happens, I want to be mindful. And if you do
then I'm
that, if
doing
you
what? I'm not clear on what you mean on
Mhm.
what I should not do again.
Uh, just like you have mentioned, you have this kind of, I can't repeat exactly, but have all of a sudden you get angry, which later on you get uh,
Took-
regret. Therefore, so preparation means that
No, I
rec-
don't getting angry. I regret that I actually agreed to
not
turn around
angry. Oh,
after
okay.
I arrived at my destination to accommodate her wanting to schedule the way
Mhm.
she wanted to. I needed to have a boundary and say, no, we said 3:15. I'll see you at 3:15. I'm not coming now.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
regret. When I'm stressed, I kind of become a little bit of a people pleaser, and it never serves me to do that.
Mm. Yeah,
And
maybe my end, maybe I'm not fully understanding, and you know, uh, I just pray for you for sure.
okay, no, on my end, I want to know how I can purify that anger when
Oh,
I
I see. Okay, how you purify. I
someone
think once
not.
again, I would repeat what I just said. The best purification would be prepared. You have this instinct of emotions, and like tomorrow, it could come up anytime. I will try not to do that. If you have some preparation or commitment, when you about to get angry because you made that commitment, or like not to get angry, or like it's not a lot of bad karma, and then you may able to catch yourself. Oh no, I can't get angry, right? And then to purify the negative karma of anger, whatever practice you do, it's important that I'm doing this practice for the benefit of all sentient beings, especially to purify the negative karma that I have created.
I don't feel I created negative karma except for myself.
That's what
You
I mean,
okay?
yourself.
I want to purify, and I did. I did Vajrasattva practice. I did,
Mhm.
2 hours of practice today. But
That's
I don't
good.
eat this kind of thing where I know someone who I hired doesn't really have my back and that it's going to be a problem, you know? But I kind of didn't have a choice because she was the only person they had. And I kept seeing it happening. And
Yeah.
I just kind of tried not to react. But when it happened the second time, I just said, I did say what you did is, I mean, because she was like arguing with me while I'm driving that was the real time. And I'm like, no, look at the text thread, but I'm driving. Don't make me have it.
Mhm.
Try and rope me into an argument.
I just only could give advice for practice, but I think working ethic and that particular part with you and your coworker something I don't have experience, and I think you probably know more than me. My
I
main area is just how to purify negative karma and how to kind of, well, that's pretty much. Daniel came last. He came here to do the dedication, I guess.
Thank you,
Hi,
Lama.
Daniel. Oh, you're welcome. Daniel is here to do dedication. You are ready? You'll be leading the dedication?
I'll let you do it long time. That's a long food. The marathon just food fine.
We can't hear you, Daniel. It's really
Yeah.
bad audio. You gotta
Oh.
switch your camera again.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Okay.
You are on different planet. You become alien. Oh, yeah, you are talking from moon or Mars.
He says in the chat, continue without me because he can't get his
Yeah,
audio.
that's how far the moon is. Okay, let's dedicate to today's session for the benefit of all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment. Sonam de tamje zebanye tane nyeba dana ba jega nanje bala truba ye sipa solen doa doa sho jambala power chitra chemba do kando zombo te kada kenje jisa dala te gewan de da tamje ra de mo chanju sanne zombo chi maji panam chi ji yiba nyamba meba Kone konde pewa shu. Thank you, everybody. It's nice to see you, Daniel, also.
Thank you.